How's it going, everyone? My name is Jojo and welcome back to the channel. So today we've got another loadout video. I want to start by saying thanks to all the support I had on my recent one. It did really well, which is great. If I could just ask one thing from you guys moving forward, it's that you subscribe and hit that like button and try and watch as much of the video as possible. I need to get watch time hours as well as subscribers in order to get partnered, so yeah, just thought I'd mention that. But let's get straight into today's video. We've got a white loadout today, so there's going to be some skins that we saw in the black loadout because they were black and white, but mainly unique skins today, so let's get straight into it. Starting off, we have our gloves. Now, there are two main options I would suggest. The first being snow leopards, which I actually prefer, but I'm going with the king snakes purely because I know a lot of people like them. So if this was if I was definitively my own list, I would put the snow leopards here, but we're going with king snakes just because we can. And now on field tested, these are going to cost $330. Now I want to get a little disclaimer out of the way. A white loadout is quite expensive. A lot of people really like white skins, so unlike some of the other loadouts we've done before, this one's going to be a bit more on the pricey side, so bear that in mind. But now we're going to get into our knife, which we are going with pretty much any Damascus steel, urban masked, stained or vanilla. They're your four knife choices that I would go for. Now if I'd pick any of them, I'd probably go with Damascus steel, to be completely honest. For the purpose of this video, we've got a Talon knife Damascus steel in factory new. Obviously choose the knife accordingly to what you want, and the float accordingly to what you want as well. These knives can set you back anywhere from, I'd say, around $80 to about 1.5k depending on the skin and the knife. So it's very broad. This combo straight away, the king snakes with the Talon knife, I think looks amazing, especially with the white handle, so I would personally recommend the Talon knife, but yeah, obviously go with what you want. Up next we've got the Zeus, and we're going with the Dragon Snore. Again, there isn't a lot of options for the Zeus because there aren't many skins for it yet, but luckily we have already had a white skin for it, and it is the Dragon Snore, and it just looks amazing. I love this holographic effect we get on the metal parts. It's like a pearlescent sort of vibe, which I just think is really cool. I actually own one of these. This is my own Dragon Snore. I've put a little craft on there. It's a lot of crafting potential, but yeah, so I would advise getting the Dragon Snore. And for the USP, we're going with the whiteout. Now, bear in mind, there are going to be two specific skins that you're going to see repeated quite a few times because they're on several guns. The whiteout is one of them. Now, in field tested, this is going to cost you around $34, but an alternative option would be the print stream, which costs about the same. Now, there are some, I will mention this straight away, there are a couple of whiteouts on this list and a couple of print streams. So pick what you want. I just went with the whiteout just to give a little bit more balance so that I wasn't picking pretty much every print stream in the game. So yeah. And for the Glock, there aren't a lot of choices, to be real. So we're going to go with the Wasteland Rebel because there's plenty of white on it. There aren't any white Glocks currently, so maybe that could be addressed by Valve. So this in minimal wear is going to cost you $4. Now for the P250, you could go with the whiteout, but I think that's a little bit boring, especially considering it's about $50. You could go with the Asimov instead, and this is only going to cost you $3. So I actually quite like the P250 Asimov. I am a bit of an Asimov enjoyer, but there are a couple of Asimovs I don't like. One of them is not this. I really like the P250. I think it's my second favourite Asimov. Dualies, there really isn't much choice. You've got this or the stained, basically, and I just think this looks a lot better. So we're going with the twin turbos, field tested. These are only about $2. There's not really a lot of point in getting anything else. And for the 5.7, we're going with the Cami. There are a lot of patterns with this skin, so get a pattern that you like. Obviously, there's the sus pattern, which is going to cost loads because people are degens. But you can grab this in minimal wear for about $2. This is probably one of my favourite white 5.7s in the game. Very sleek, white and black. The Tech 9 is the brand new whiteout with the new train collection. Get this whilst you can, because if this leaves the armory, it just will go up in price as time goes on. But in field tested, you're going to want to look for a low float because this gets beat up really, really quickly. But in field tested, it's going to cost you around $3.50. Deagle's up next, and we're going with the print stream. Now, I love the print stream. I love this pearlescent effect you get. It just looks stunning. The Deagle is probably my favourite print stream, if I'm being completely honest. It just looks really sleek. It's small enough to the point where it doesn't look weird, and it just looks amazing. But in field tested, this is going to cost you around $30, and in my opinion, I wouldn't pick anything else. For the MP9, we're going to go with the Airlock, another really clean white skin, very shiny, which is cool. And I like the little red accents it has. In field tested, this is only going to cost you $2. For the Mat 10, we're going to go with the Ensnared. Now, I quite like this for a blue. It really is pretty cool. It pops quite a lot. And in minimal wear, this is only going to cost you about 7 cents. Up next, we've got the MP7, and we're going with the Whiteout. In field tested, this is going to cost you around $19. Again, just another sleek white skin. XM Black Tie is up next, and this was one in our last loadout video. I just really like it. Minimal wear is going to cost you 90 cents. We're actually going to sling in the Nova as well, and we're going to go with the Koi in minimal wear for around 75 cents. This skin wears pretty badly, so maybe even go for factory new. One that wears great is the Mecha Industries. Now, you can grab this in field tested for only around $3.50, and the higher the float, the darker the skin gets, and you can see there's little cracks in it, which, you know, for the untrained eye, probably isn't going to be that big of a deal. So you could even get this in well-worn battle scarred if you wanted. Up next is the Galil, and we're going with the Tuxedo, another one that was in one of our recent videos. Minimal wear is going to set you back $1.35, a super clean skin. I really like the Tuxedo. Getting into what might be my favourite skin in the entire game, the AK Inheritance, one that I still don't have yet, which is quite ironic. In field tested, this is going to cost you $75. I've been reluctant to pick this up myself, purely because I'd want it in StatTrak, and StatTrak is quite a lot of money. So I've been holding out on buying it, but this is probably my favourite skin, just full stop, in the whole game. I'd probably say the only skin that comes very close to this is the Orc Medusa, and then the Karambit Fade. But they are like the trifecta for me, my three favourite skins. I'm also really starting to like the Talon Fade as well. So yeah, but I've gone a little bit on a tangent there. Just from my own personal perspective, there is no other AK than this one. So I don't think there's any other choice. If you guys want to get a Vulcan instead, because it's got a bit of white on, go for it. But I just think this is better. Coming in at an eye-watering $230 is the M4A1S Print Stream. This is a skin that's very sought after, and because it's in a discontinued case, will only continue to go up in price. See this as the modern day Fire Serpent. This is that desirable. If not, I would argue a little bit more. This skin just looks amazing. Now, you can go with the Mecha Industries, which is only about 1/10 of this price, but I just couldn't help but include the print stream. I mean, this is my list at the end of the day. You guys can pick whatever skins you like, but if money wasn't a problem and I was building a white inventory, this is what I would get. And in keeping to that theme of my own list, I've switched up the gloves to Snow Leopards because I do prefer them to King Snakes. I just put King Snakes on the list because they're significantly cheaper, but I'm going to be real, I would pick the Snow Leopards over them. So if money wasn't a choice, Snow Leopards would get picked immediately. Anywho, getting on the M4, we're going with the Temakau. I don't really mind this skin, I think it's pretty cool, but I really like the white and the light blue on it. I'm not actually a massive fan of the anime girl on it. I think it's pretty mid and pretty cringe, but at the end of the day, I still think the skin visually pops really well, so I think it's your best white M4 choice. You could also go with the Neo Noir, but I just think that is just a little bit too dark to be put in a true white tier list. And next we've got the Scout. We're going with the Detour, which is probably one of the most famous skins in the entire game. If you know, then you know, and if you don't, I'll give you a little bit of backstory before we move on to our next skin. This exact Scout, with some stickers put on, was used in an infamous pro match where Olofmeister used what is now known as a banned boost on Overpass, where he was effectively able to see the entirety of the enemy team, and as a result they absolutely destroyed the opponents, and there was nothing anyone else could do because Olofmeister just had this absolutely broken boost. So yeah, pretty cool and infamous CS Pro moment if you remember that. I remember watching it live, it was crazy. But yeah, the Scout Detour holds a very special place in my heart for that exact moment. Now you can grab this bad boy in souvenir minimal wear for only around $7. And last but certainly not least, we've got the newest skin on this list, the AWP print stream. Now, this skin gets some like hate for some reason. I know a lot of people really don't like the AWP print stream. Perhaps because it's maybe a little bit too big. It might look like the model might look a bit weird. And I know that in terms of the workshop, the AWP print stream looks a lot different than what the original submission looked like. So a lot of people got annoyed at the fact that it was changed. But I really like the AWP print stream. I'm very tempted to pick one up myself. And, you know, in field tested, you can grab one of these for $55. And once again, one thing I love about the print streams are, if you want, you can grab them in a high float. Like, I mean, this Deagle, for example, is a really good float field tested. I mean, this almost looks minimal wear. But, I mean, this AWP, you know, it's field tested. You could even get it in battle scarred if you want. Like, it just gets darker and there's more scratches on it and cracks in it. You know, it's not that much of a difference. So, bear that in mind when buying print streams. You know, they wear really well. So yeah, but anyway folks, that's going to be the end of my list. We've got a nice like merge of different skins here. We've got some whiteouts, we've got some print streams, and we've got some Mecha Industries along with other bits and pieces, so there's plenty of choice, and there's a lot of freedom with a white inventory. Now, as I said, the problem is the price. A lot of these skins are quite expensive, so look for alternatives, or you know, just bite the bullet and treat yourself is what I would suggest. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope this has been helpful for you guys. Again, as per usual, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to change anything on this list, you know, if you've got any personal opinions, leave those in the comments too. You never know, someone might pick your opinion to get a skin for themselves. So it's always good to help the community out like that. But thanks everyone for watching. That's going to be all for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.